Hi everybody, this is Janet Riney and I am so pleased to be here with Linda Ramus. Now for years, I think since I've been around the Three Principles community, Linda Ramus has been a support and a guide and a friend, in particular in the area of evaluation within the Three Principles. I know that there's ongoing work, but I have calls almost every week asking, is there evidence? Is there something that can supply where to find evidence? And so I think it's really great, and I'm really excited to be speaking to Linda today, just looking at how we can bring this more to the forefront of the work that we're doing within the Principles community. So welcome, Linda. And also, I suppose, just a couple of things. One, just if anybody doesn't really know you, just a really potted history about how you came to the Principles and what your background has been. But then secondly, why is evaluation, why has it been so important to you?
Okay, well, good morning, Janet. Well, morning here, no, but not with you. Thank you for inviting me, for making this happen. Yes, I came to the Principles 20 years ago in Santa Clara County. I was working for the county. My good friend Kathy Casey kind of drugged me into a training, and it's like, well, another couple of days away from work, what the heck? And it was a training by Roger Mills, and it was a training that just sort of really did change my life. I all of a sudden saw something really different about the world, the inside-out nature of the world, the power of our own innate health. And working for the county, I was working as a management analyst. And so, I mean, I was already an analyst, and I enjoyed working as an analyst. I enjoyed looking at things and trying to understand more about them, and then showing people if something worked or didn't work. I was evaluating programs already. So it sort of naturally was what I like to do. I liked a good spreadsheet. I like creating spreadsheets and making them, you know, finding out more about things, looking at data from all different directions. And so when the Health Realization Services Division was started, I was hired largely because I was an analyst. And I did like to look at things and the numbers. I like to, because numbers tell us a lot. I was an analyst. I could look at a budget and tell you an awful lot of things about your program. So I enjoyed that. I kind of taking things and looking at more the why and the how things worked. So it was. Yeah, people asked, does this stuff work? And then I could take a look at some statistics and say, statistically, yeah. And then the other thing is research and evaluation is not just statistics, but it's also the stories. You can use stories as data. Stories are data. So I would take a look at a story, and I take a bunch of stories, and I could tell people, I can take and make this look like data and tell you more about your program or about your class. And also, I know, because as an analyst working for the county, that it was important to be able to show that you work. You want the money? You know, show me your work. So that's my background. I think that's why I enjoy the work, because it tells me more about what's going on as well. And I like a good spreadsheet.
Yeah.
So it's natural.
I've yet to have clarity on a spreadsheet. No, that's not my thing at all. But I'm grateful it's yours. I'm very grateful it's yours. So during your time in the county, what evaluations, what research had you conducted?
Well, number one, I always collect participant evaluations of every training we would ever do, and on there would be some, can collect some quantitative, some numbers. You know, there'd be a Likert scale on a scale of 1 to 10. You know, has this changed the way are you feeling less stressed? You know, are you getting along better with coworkers? And then there were some open-ended questions. We'd ask people just to write in some comments, and I'd take you know, and always look at that. I really believe no one should be doing a workshop unless they're getting some sort of feedback from the participants. You don't know. I mean, yeah, you have the oh my God stories in front of you, but what about the people sitting in the back of the room? Either they've slept or else they've had a big insight you just missed. You know? So you, and the evaluation, excuse me, the evaluations, that's where we, and always, I know instructors always like to read these evaluations because it does tell them about how did they do. Now, sometimes people will look at it and they said, wow, you know, that not necessarily the greatest evaluation, and that just tells you, were you on your game during that training or not? So that means, oh, yeah, right, maybe I am sort of gone into just my old spiel, you know, I put the tape in and let it run, so it wasn't as great as it could have been. That's just what an evaluation for anybody should do, and you owe that back to whoever brought you in to do the training.
Yeah, it is so powerful, because I remember in doing work with you, and when I was sharing the principles with the women and sending the questionnaires back to you, and you had an indicator of where my state of mind was when I was delivering the training. You could see whether I was on my game and look at the comments that were there, and also if I wasn't, because of some of the comments that came from later groups. And that was necessary for me, because it's, again, providing evidence to the commissioners. Working in the public sector, because you're spending public money, is to prove and to demonstrate how effective it is. And so it really was a blessing to come across you and to work with you, and just to have some numbers to demonstrate, just to go alongside the stories to show how effective these programs were. So when you look in the Three Principles community, what evaluation and research are you seeing now?
Have I seen?
Have you seen? Well, I was going to say, because I suppose I don't hear much talk of research and evaluation in the Three Principles community.
That's true. Well, what I see is a lot of people wanting the research and evaluations, like where is it, who has any, because people are asking me for it, but I don't see a lot of people doing it or putting it out there to share with other people. There may be people out there that are doing them, doing the class evaluations and all that, but nobody knows they have it, or they're not sharing it for whatever reason, maybe just because they're not thinking about sharing it. It doesn't occur to them to share it. They don't know how to share it or what to do with it once they have it. So I'm sure there are people out there doing these kinds of things. Like I say, but for the most part, I find people, you know, I just want to get up and teach, and I don't care, you know, I don't need to prove this to anybody because I'm seeing proof in front of me. And yes, you are. You're seeing a lot of proof in front of you. But there's going to be we live in a world where people are going to want to. Does it work? Prove it. This whole thing about best practices here in the States, because people don't want to pay for something they don't know is going to work or not. And by work, you know, people look at this as a model, as an intervention. I mean, that's the real world we live in. Now, you know, from a purely Three Principles understanding, this is not an intervention, this is not a model, this is just an understanding to be shared with other people, and they take it from there, and then it changes their life, and, you know, health comes out. Their own innate health emerges. But we live in a world that says, show me the proof. Prove it. And we live in a world that thinks science has all the answers. And so they want studies and research and the numbers. And that's just the reality of it. And so that's how come people who are always coming, you know, I get emails and people are asking, well, where's the research? I need research. I need the numbers. Somebody's asking me for this. You know? Yeah. Otherwise, we wouldn't care. We would just go about our job.